today I'm going to show you how to frost a two-layer cake. And essentially you can apply these principles to various other, cake decorating. What I've first done is I have a cake stand here and it twirls. This is going to make for easy frosting on the side, and rather than walking around, you can just spin it. If there are not enough of these, you can also do this just on like a cake like plate or a piece of cardboard, just so you can spin it. You wouldn't want to just directly do this to like on a piece of paper. It's going to be very difficult. You want something to be able to move it, okay? So what I've done is I've already made two cakes. Now, depending on what cake pans you use, this is a very thin cake pan. It's one of the smaller ones. So they could be much bigger, they could be much thicker, etc. Okay? So what I've done is I like to use, so it goes on evenly, a piping bag to put on. This is my middle layer. I like to put the frosting in and then put it on like so. And I'll show you how to use one of these piping bags in a second, just so it's easier to go on. And I've already done one, so I'm just going to do an extra little coat to the outside, just because you want it thicker on the outside. Okay, so to use one of these, this is what's called a piping bag. They come in all shapes, sizes. This is a disposable piping bag. They also come canvas. And they also come much, much larger, because if you were working in a full-out bakery, this is not going to do the trick. You're going to be filling this every minute. So then what you're going to need is you're going to use a coupler. Okay, this is a coupler. It has a top and a bottom, and it comes secured together. Okay, when you pick up one of these in class, you need to return both pieces, because believe it or not, these are about 50 cents each, and if we lose them, then we have to keep buying them, and it gets very expensive. Okay, so then what you're going to do is this piece goes in the inside, just like so. Okay, and again, the couplers come bigger depending on your bag. All right. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take a knife or a scissors and you just trim this off. And my scissors are not good. I have another pair, but that's fine. I'm just going to, okay. You would have much cleaner cut, okay. Then what you would do is, for this one I just picked the biggest star tip that I had, but you have lots of different options that you can pick from, okay. And I'm just going to grab a writing one. You put this right over the top like so, okay? And then this piece secures it on, all right? And you just twist, okay? Then what you're gonna do is to fill with icing or frosting. You're gonna fold this over. And this is like a two-person type job, essentially. Is you're gonna take a heaping scoop of your frosting, pull out, like so, and then you're ready to go, okay? Now sometimes, depending on what you're using this for, if you're prepping, you may not want to cut your tip yet, and then you could just put the coupler on there, secure it, and then cut it right before use, and then you'll pick out your tip, okay? So, back to our frosting. When you are frosting a cake, you want to use a straight edge spatula, okay? A straight edge spatula. We use this a lot for measuring in class, but it's really made for cake decorating and flattening out and whatnot. And you want to have some warm water right next to you. That's going to make for, so it's easy to smooth over and whatnot. So I already have one ready to go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just smooth it. And if it goes a little over, that's fine. Okay, and then we're ready to put on our next layer. If you notice, underneath my cake, I have parchment paper that I've cut into slices. When I'm done frosting my cake, I will be able to just pull this off and it'll be a nice clean finish. Where if I don't use this, it's going to make a mess on my cake spinner, and I want it to look nice for presentation. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my next layer and I'm going to set it right on the top. Okay, I'm just going to press it down, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice heap of frosting, like so. It's probably a little much. And I'm going to start with my crumb coat. What a crumb coat is the first layer. So what happens with cake, depending on the temperature in the room and the recipe that you use, it might start crumbling apart, and that doesn't look nice. So what you're going to do is a crumb coat kind of just holds the cake together. It's not the finished product, so that's okay. Remember, it's just your first coat. So what you're going to do is you start by spinning and smoothing it over. Remember, this is just your first coat, so presentation is not of the essence here. Okay? And some is going to spill over, and that's what you want. You always start from the center and work your way out. Okay? So, smooth it over. And now I'm going to go around the side. So see, I already have some frosting. What I often see is kids will grab some and start patting it on the sides. That's going to make for a mess, and it's going to be very uneven. Okay, so we're going to start here, and you are going to start. I'm going to put this in because it's getting a little hard to move. And then I go back, and I'm going to go around. You can see it's starting to hold my cake into a nice cake-like shape, like so. And now I need a little more frosting, so I start at the top and work my way down, like so. This is not my second coat yet. I'm just trying to finish off my crumb coat. Take some of that frosting, move it. Spin it around. It's just going to get the excess frosting. And I'm going to go do one more, and we should be almost there. Oop! That's why you have some frosting might fall over, and that's fine. That's why we have the parchment paper right below. Smooth this over. Now this is our crumb coat, so you can still see some cake through it, and that's absolutely totally fine. Okay, I'm just going to smooth this over. Now what you'll do is you'll set this in the refrigerator. It needs to cool, and then we'll put our final coat on. So I'll be right back. Okay, I just took the cake out of the refrigerator. It's been in there quite a bit, so it's all stiff. If I went to take this, I wouldn't be able to move the frosting around unless I let it cool. So this is what you call the crumb coat, okay? So now I'm going to put on our final coat, and I'm going to go pretty heavy with the frosting because I want to do a nice decorative topping. What I'm going to do is, typically you would just take the rest of the frosting and glob it on and start frosting it around. I have some leftover from the inside, so I'm just going to squirt it in the center. Remember, always start in the center. And this is, we're not focusing on presentation right now because we're just going to smooth this out because I want to show you how to clean these. Okay, I'm going to get some on my hands, not a big deal. Put this off to the side. I'm just going to wipe that off. Okay, and then what you're going to do, I'm going to smooth this over. Remember the warm water. I'm going to start spreading this. Okay, you remember to go out, and then with this extra glob that came off, you're going to go around the sides. And this is when you don't want to see the cake anymore. So this is going to take a good amount of frosting. Okay? Just keep going around. I'm going to need a lot more. So I'm going to glob this on. And you want a really soft frosting. And the recipe we make in class with shortening is very soft if it's mixed a long time. It has a little bit of margarine in it, but shortening really makes a nice smooth frosting. Some of the store-bought frostings, they're really, really hard to work with, and you'll notice that, you know, when you watch cake decorating on like the Food Network, they make it look so easy. It's not as easy as it looks. I mean, right now I do this a little, but this takes lots of time, practice, and patience. And this is, I'm no, professional cake decorator. This is something that I just like to do for fun, and it takes practice. So don't think you're going to have this big, elaborate wedding cake by the time all of this is done, unless you've done this before. And if it's a little messy, it's okay. You can always go back and fix it. Okay. I'm just going to do one more. I'm actually going to dip this in because I want it to look really smooth on the sides. And I'm going to have like a cloudy top. Move this around. They sell different things that you can do, like a really fun texture on the side, or you can take like sprinkles and put lots of them in your hand and kind of edge up. You can do nut toppings, you can do just about anything on the sides. And then when you have those toppings, it kind of covers any imperfections, okay? I'm just going to grab a spoon, and I'm going to put just a little bit more frosting on the top because I want it to look like a cloud. Okay, that should be good. I'm just going to lightly move this around. I don't want it to go onto my sides because I like how my sides look right now. I'm just going to mound this, like so. I'm going to put my spoon in my hot water, and then I'm just going to kind of play with the frosting to make it look like a cloud. Okay, and there is your finished product, and then you're going to carefully take away parchment paper. Ooh, be careful. My cake is a little warm today. Probably hottest day of the year. So it's kind of coming off, but that's okay. And then you have your finished cake. Okay. Thank you.